Welcome to Smart PT. My name is Jonathan Reimer. This week we're going to be talking about the Levatores Costarum. There's a longus and a brevis for those of you who aren't familiar with the muscle. The brevis runs from C7 to the rib below. It tends to run from the transverse process to the rib angle directly below. That's the brevis. The longus runs from the transverse process, skips a rib to the next rib down, basically. Longus tends to start at the T7 level, so not at C7 like the brevis does. So there's 12 of the brevis and only 6 of the longus. Some anatomy texts show that the brevis comes off the inferior articular pillar area of the vertebrae above, but others show it coming off of the transverse process. I've always thought that it comes off the transverse process. So I'm going to show you what I do to release them and how it plays into rib mobilizing. So if you want to cross your arms for me, I'm going to tend to previously assess and find the dysfunctional rib area. So as I said, I'm assuming that the muscle is coming off the transverse process and attaching to the rib below, kind of in a diagonal, which runs in a diagonal fashion. So I'm going to try to get my thumb into that space. How's that feel there? Good. So when I'm trying to release the muscle, I'm going to try to stretch it. So I'm going to bring the person into side flexion, and ipsilateral rotation. And take a breath, and then hold, and a slow breath out. I'm kind of incorporating inspiration into it, and back. Good. You can also do just digital frictions across that, if you can visualize that diagonal plane and friction across that diagonal if you like, and you can put the person again on a bit of stretch and do the friction. Now after I've released that, I usually spend 30 seconds up to 2 minutes releasing a particular muscle. Then what I'm going to do is potentially mobilize that rib. So generally ribs get stuck and require inferior glide to assist with inspiration. So typically what I would do after releasing that muscle is side flex, rotate back, and then just put my pressure inferiorly on the rib, take a deep breath in and out. Good. Side flex, rotate contralaterally and extend, and deep breath in, and a little pressure as she breathes in. Good. You can also mobilize obviously in prone. You can do manipulation of the rib in supine positions, but basically that's just a mobilization technique that you can do immediately following the muscle release. So there you have it, the anatomy of the Levatores Costarum muscle that's little known to most people, but I find it very beneficial to do some release of that guy before you try to mobilize the ribs, especially when you're trying to restore inferior glide, because that muscle is going to tend to pull up on the rib and not allow the inferior glide to happen. Check us out on smartpt.ca or on Facebook.